Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I am the Gothic Rose. Don't forget to find me live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TikTok, and be sure to catch up and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube for all the terrifying tales. If you'd like to send me a terrifying tale of your own, please email me at welcometothedenpodcast@gmail.com. And there is a blog with the same name, Welcome to the Den podcast. You can find that all in my TikTok links. Now let's get to the fresh hell of the day, which is December 16th, 2024 on the Daily Dive in 5. And let's start with ABC News agreeing to pay $15 million to President-elect Donald Trump's presidential library to settle a defamation lawsuit involving anchor George Stephanopoulos. This lawsuit stemmed from Stephanopoulos' inaccurate on-air assertion that Trump had been found civilly liable for raping writer E. Jean Carroll, when in reality, Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation, not rape. Interesting that those words and those choice of words are what won this lawsuit. As part of the settlement, ABC News will also pay $1 million in legal fees to Trump's attorney and post an editor's note expressing regret over the statements made during the broadcast. A lawsuit, all for that. And he gets his legal fees paid. A 34-time convicted felon is having his lawsuits and legal fees paid by the mainstream legacy media. And I think it's just time for that legacy to fizzle out. Don't you? Yes. Now, speaking of Donald Trump again, him and Benjamin, known as Bibi Netanyahu, have had a complex and evolving relationship over the years. But recently, Bibi revealed that he had a long and friendly conversation with Trump about the hostages still being held by Hamas. I'm not sure how that conversation could be friendly, but okay. They discussed the need to complete Israel's victory and the efforts being made to free the hostages. Netanyahu has expressed his optimism about working with Trump again, especially given their past collaboration on key issues like recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital and moving the U.S. embassy there. However, the relationship is not without challenges, as the Middle East has changed significantly since Trump's first term. Meanwhile, Joseph Biden, the current president, was working round the clock along with Kamala Harris, the VP, and they were trying to get a ceasefire, which didn't happen because Netanyahu wanted to wait until after the election. Now, Netanyahu's recent actions, such as firing his defense minister and replacing him with a loyalist, indicate his desire to consolidate power and, of course, work closely with Trump once he takes office. This partnership could have significant implications for the region, particularly in terms of U.S. policy towards Iran and the ongoing conflict in Gaza, which in my opinion will be the beachfront property they all said it was. Now, how did we get here? Who knows? But Elon Musk, the world's richest person, has made even more headlines with his wealth and his political involvement because he is now worth over $400 billion. They say this is driven by his success of his ventures of Tesla and SpaceX, neither one of which he has put any brains into, just money. But in the 2024 election cycle, Elon Musk donated a staggering $277 million to support President-elect Donald Trump and other Republican candidates. Now, this has made him a significant key player in Trump's administration, and this is why his established Department of Government Efficiency is happening, which aims to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget. but that's taking away from ordinary citizens, and it will just make the rich richer because they can't just take what money they have and walk away. They need more. Unlike the rest of us that are happy with what we have in life, they are greedy. Now, one of the more controversial moves expected under this Trump administration is the potential scrapping of federal car crash reporting regulations. And this, of course, would benefit Tesla by reducing the scrutiny on its autonomous driving systems. And what, we won't be allowed to say that Teslas catch fire when saltwater hits them anymore and have caused many, many deaths, and that Geico refuses to underwrite the insurance for them anymore because they are not safe to drive. So these deregulations align with Musk's broader goals of reducing government oversight and promoting innovation in the tech and automotive industries. And we see what happened when that Rush guy with his Titan sub went down to the Titanic and built a sub made with game controllers and things that you could find in Camping World. And then the sub imploded, filled with millionaires. It's really hard to have sympathy. It really is. So now back with our current government. Very interesting. Alexander Smirnov, a former FBI informant, has pleaded guilty to the federal charges of making false claims and tax evasion. Smirnov falsely claimed that executives from the Ukrainian energy firm Burisma had paid President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden $5 million each to protect them from various problems. These false allegations were a key element into the House Republican impeachment inquiry against President Biden. Smirnov faces up to 35 years in prison and a $1 million fine, though federal guidelines suggest a term of only 4 to 6 years. And if he did not lie, and they didn't put Hunter Biden, a private citizen, on trial while protecting Matt Gaetz, who is a public figure, well, then President Biden wouldn't have had to pardon his son. But in my opinion, the elites are just taking care of themselves. Now let's get to a really crazy story, because Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Trump's nominee to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, has been linked to a controversial petition to withdraw approval of a polio vaccine for children because nothing says progress like bringing back the iron lung. The petition, filed by Kennedy's advisor Aaron Siri on behalf of the Informed Consent Action Network, criticizes the clinical trials of the polio vaccines and calls for a new trial to assess its safety. Well, with that, he also doesn't want to pasteurize milk, and cows and other people have been getting bird flu from unpasteurized milk. And you heard Elon Musk talking about the fact that he got a bunch of Amish farmers to come out and vote against Kamala Harris because she wanted regulations on milk. And he said, Musk, well, farmers don't care about regulations, they just farm. Well, you should care about regulations if you are taking away vaccines, if you are taking away safety regulations, and if you are killing people with bird flu. Now let's get to drinking. Speaking of drinking, we're talking about drinking milk. Let's talk about drinking alcohol. Pete Hegseth, Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, has faced allegations of excessive drinking, which have raised concerns among his colleagues and the public. Reports from current and former Fox News employees indicate that Hegseth's drinking habits were a cause for concern during his time as co-host on Fox and Friends Weekend. Some colleagues reported smelling alcohol on him before he went on air and hearing him talk about being hungover. Hegseth has denied having a drinking problem and has vowed not to drink a drop of alcohol if confirmed as defense secretary. He has compared this committee to a military deployment where alcohol consumption is prohibited. Despite these assurances, the allegations have added to the controversy surrounding his nomination, which also includes accusations of sexual assault. Now, if you have to vow not to drink a drop of alcohol, I would say you probably drink too much. much. And that is the fresh hell, this daily dive in 5, which turned into 10 minutes because there was a lot to talk about. Join me now for my newest thing here. It's called Celebrity in 3. Get your celebrity gossip as quick as possible. Thanks for joining me on this episode in the Den. I am the Gothic Rose. I'll see you soon.